We're in week 2 of fall football camp already for Arkansas. The Razorbacks have media day Saturday, and they'll hold their first scrimmage of fall practice shortly. But there's already a few storylines. As with pretty much every college football team, the main goal, the main objective in fall camp is obviously you want to get better, but you want to come out of it healthy and without injury. The Razorbacks have already had a few injury issues so far in fall camp. Jared Cornelius, probably the most interesting one, the biggest player that's dealing with injury issues. He's out of practice for now with a bad back. They've taken him off the 105-man roster. It doesn't sound too serious, but obviously you never know. Backs are finicky. You never know exactly how that'll play out. I think they're taking a cautious approach, which makes sense because he's a guy that has already proven himself. He's their only veteran receiver that has meaningful SEC experience, meaningful production at the Division I level. And so by keeping him out, it's twofold, because one, it allows him to get right, and they need him. He's going to be, by all accounts, he'll be their go-to guy this fall, and he's really emerged as a leader of that group. But it also allows the younger guys to get more reps, which is kind of where you've seen a few other little storylines crop up. Jordan Jones has apparently been the star of fall camp so far from the offensive perspective, at least through the first week. Had 4 long touchdown passes, and we saw that in the spring a little bit. We saw explosive plays from him in one of the scrimmages. He had 4 catches, 99 yards, and a really long touchdown where he showed off his speed. He might be the fastest guy on the team. If not, he's definitely in that conversation. But he's always sort of been held back by maybe his knowledge of the playbook. Obviously, he's a young guy, but they really haven't been they weren't sold on his consistency maybe in the spring. He wasn't doing it on an everyday basis. Well, now apparently he is. They really like the work he's put in with the playbook over the summer, and he knows where he's supposed to go. He knows where to line up, and he knows the route tree, where he's supposed to be. He's on the same page with Austin Allen, which for all these young guys, that physically they seem like they'll be as good or better as the group last year. But obviously they don't have that experience. So knowing where to be and giving Austin Allen that confidence that he's going to throw to a spot and his guy will be there, that's big. And Jordan Jones has done that, and he's produced big plays. Like I mentioned in the spring, he had a big spring practice. Most of that came against the second-team defense. Right now he's working with the starters. He's a starter right now, and so is TJ Hammonds. I think that's another one of the big storylines. TJ Hammonds, by all accounts, is looking like a guy that they're going to want to involve in a big way this fall. He kind of brings, like, where Jordan has the speed that not many other guys on the roster have. I think TJ Hammonds has the quickness, the moves, the ability to make plays after the catch that not a lot of other guys on the roster have. He's kind of unique in that sense. So I think that the move to receiver in the spring really helped his growth and has made him a much more versatile guy that they are going to try and take advantage of that versatility this fall. They'll still line him up in the backfield some. Today Reggie Mitchell said that he gets him for a handful of plays every day, and they use him in a lot of different ways. So I think that he's going to factor in a big way this fall, just because of all the different things he can do, and just the potential for big plays is there with him, the explosiveness. I think that he's somebody that they really like the upside that he brings to that position. So obviously you don't want Cornelius to be injured long term, and I think they feel confident that he will be back. They're just trying to be cautious with him, but his absence has allowed some of these younger guys to get more reps. And I think you've seen Jordan Jones and TJ Hammonds especially take advantage of that. Deon Stewart is somebody that is obviously a veteran and experienced, and I think they've been impressed with him too. And obviously they've got a lot of freshmen, junior college guys that they're trying to work into the rotation and trying to get reps and get up to speed. But I think at this point Jordan Jones and TJ Hammonds have been the 2 young guys that have maybe impressed the most. Sticking with the injury theme, though, it wouldn't be Arkansas football if there wasn't a broken foot. Yesterday, Jamario Bell, Brett Bielema announced that he was going to be out 10 to 12 weeks, so probably most of the regular season, as I got a truck going by, probably most of the regular season, as I got a truck going by, probably most of the regular season, as I got a truck going by, probably most of the regular season, as I got a truck going by, probably most of the regular season, as I got a truck going by, probably most of the regular season, as I got a truck going by, probably most of the regular season, as I got a truck going by, probably most of the regular season, as I got a truck going by, probably most of the regular season, as I got a truck going by, probably most of the regular season, as I got a truck going by, probably most of the regular season, as I got a truck going by, probably most of the regular season, as I got a truck going by, probably most of the regular season, as I got a truck going by, probably most of the regular season, as I got a truck going by, probably most of the regular season, as I got a truck going by, probably most of the regular season, as I got a truck going by, probably most of the regular season, as I got a truck going by, probably most of the regular season, as I got he'll probably be out most of the regular season, and that's unfortunate because it's unclear how much he would play, but the coaching staff has been high on the progress he's made starting in the spring when they moved him to outside linebacker. He's one of the, I think, few guys on the roster, along with like a Randy Ramsey, maybe a Carl Rosser, that has the body type at this point, Gabe Richardson, to play that position. So obviously athleticism and athletic ability has never been the question with him. I think he was still going to be a backup, but basically if you take him out of the equation, you're just getting thinner at that position, and obviously linebacker depth has been a big question mark for this team for a long period of time, which is why Dre Greenlaw being out, or limited, not out, should say limited, is kind of an interesting thing. According to what Vernon Hargraves said today, it's not his foot. It's not the same injury he's been dealing with, but he had a setback physically, and so they've chosen to limit him maybe a little bit, because the most important thing is obviously keeping these guys in a position where they can play this season and be ready this fall. Dre Greenlaw's played a lot of football, and they're counting on him to be that experienced guy that leads the linebacker group, that gets everybody lined up and leads them in tackles. Really, they need him to be that presence this year. And I think the last big storyline that I kind of have paid attention to or am interested in is just the running back situation, because we knew once Raleigh Williams went down that Devwah Whaley was going to be the clear-cut starter. He was going to be the feature back, and by Raleigh's injury happening, you knew there was going to be an opening for carries behind him, and for a while it looked like it was going to be the true freshman. They moved TJ Hammonds to receiver, so if it's the two true freshmen, Chase Hayden and Malik Williams, you kind of feel iffy about it. Obviously, David Williams transfers in June and adds a veteran presence to that room, and I think that they're really impressed with how quickly he's bought in and caught on and learned the playbook, and they, by all accounts, have bonded really quickly, he and Devwah Whaley. So in the future, I think that they thought that Malik Williams at one point at least was going to be somebody who was going to play a big role immediately. Right now it looks like Chase Hayden has come in and really impressed them, and he's a different style back, and I think that's something they value. He's quick, he's elusive, he's a speed back, more of a home run type guy than probably the other three in the competition. So yesterday Brett Bielema said that he was probably the third back right now, which is interesting because Malik Williams gets here in the spring and performed reasonably well, and so you thought that experience, the fact that he lost 20 pounds and got in good shape, was going to give him a leg up on playing time. But I think just the versatility and the differing style that Hayden brings to the table makes him an appealing guy. Reggie Mitchell said today that if he continues to progress at the rate that he's progressed at the rate that he has so far through 15, through however many practices they've had, if he does that over the next 15, then he's going to be somebody who definitely factors into the end of the playbook. It may only be a few carries a game, but they like his big playability and just kind of change the pace that he brings to the game. So, again, we haven't even had media day yet. That'll be interesting. There's always some interesting stuff that comes out of that. We'll have obviously a few scrimmages that'll tell us more and kind of let us actually see for ourselves where everybody stands and how the pecking order at different positions is. But yeah, already a few interesting storylines. Less than a week in. We're already in week 2 though, and it'll be an interesting fall camp. There's a lot of question marks on this team, so hopefully we can start to get some answers and get a better feel and grasp for what to expect in 2017. So on that note, keep it here, keep it locked. Whole Hog Sports for your Razorback coverage. We'll be putting out a lot of new content all week, and then I'm sure a lot of stuff Saturday for Media Day. So stick with us for all your Razorback news.